Hello my friend, my name is Tanya, a multidisciplinary creator. My channel is all about uploading a database of creative hobbies and helping you build a firewall to overcome creative fears. Welcome to a new video of the series Discover Your Creative Calling. This time we will browse through creative hobbies with tech. Because there's so many tech hobbies, I've split them into two videos. In this video you'll discover what you can create with programming and what programming languages you should learn. Having worked in the IT industry for more than 10 years, I know that there are some people that might not feel tech savvy or might shy away from trying out creatives that are tech-based. If that is you, at the end of the video, I will be sharing as a bonus a few hacks on how you can reprogram your fears. Now, select all programming hobbies. Enter. Let's first set the foundation. What is programming or coding? In abstract terms, programming is the process of writing lines in a text with a specific syntax, which means format, or a specific programming language, so that you communicate with the computer, give it instructions on how to interpret information, and then execute an action. A simple example could be you have a button on a website and you want, when that button is clicked, to open a website link. In this example, I'll be using HTML just to showcase this is what, for example, if I write a blog post on my website, what I would be using. In English, it's also known as the pseudocode. What would have to happen is first we have to create a rectangle, then you want to declare it as a button, giving it a look or style of a button. You want to associate the button with attributes like it is clicked or it's not clicked, and then define an action based on if it's clicked or not clicked. So if the button is clicked, please open this URL. Here's how a code would look. Programming is a huge area simply because pretty much every tech or digital anything is based on some form or shape on code. This is what makes it so powerful, and if you were to learn to program, you could let your creativity run wild. One of the challenges when learning to program is to choose the right programming language. Now, unfortunately, you cannot just choose one language and do everything with it. However, you will see that a language can be used for a multitude of applications, because once you understand a language, it is a lot easier to then learn the others. Therefore, it is important to first determine what would you like to create and then choose the language based on that. I studied information systems, which is the development of software solutions for businesses. In my degree and over the years, I learned various programming languages like C++, Java, SQL, Visual Basic for applications, if anybody remembers that, PHP, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. VBA is the programming language that allows you to manipulate data, automate processes, and do bulk editing in spreadsheets. And a long time ago, that was what sparked my love for tech. This is where I first understood what computers really can do for you. And I love the endless possibilities that a simple line of code could accomplish. Hello world. Now let's move on to the applications that you can do with programming. You could create websites. If you're watching this video on a browser, you're using YouTube's website. Whenever you're on a browser, shopping online, reading blogs, forums, streaming on Netflix, you're using a website and you're consuming its content. Websites can be as creative as you want them to be, including interactive games, animations, pop-up, special effects like parallax when you're scrolling down. Here's an example of a super creative website from Bruno Simon that I absolutely love. Nowadays, there are many ways to create websites that don't require code, like using website builders. My website, for example, I use Shopify, and essentially these are building blocks that you select, you drag and drop, the code in the back is then generated for you. And similarly, there's like hybrid solutions where you kind of want to code, but you want to focus also on the design. And so Dreamweaver and Webflow are good alternatives for that. This is only if you don't want to go all in immediately on programming websites. Now let's move on to game development. Do you love video games? Have you ever considered creating your own? There's a tons of different kinds of video games from different platforms like mobile, PC, or console. There's different genres like ego shooter, adventure, platformer, point and click, puzzle, and also many different styles like 2D and 3D. Beyond programming languages, to develop games, you will usually also use existing resources from something that's called a game engine. A game engine is essentially the architecture of a game. In other words, it has like the settings and the configurations for a game. For example, a game engine can dictate the physics of a game, like how a ball is supposed to interact with the surface, or how does water move. These settings are stored in libraries that can be retrieved and reused, which allow you to create more complex games with less amount of programming. Most AAA games are built on game engines. The most known game engines at the moment are Unreal Engine and Unity. As a beginner, you can start using these for free, and only when you have created your masterpiece and you're making millions, consider buying a license off of them. A noteworthy mention is Godot. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is an open source game engine that is getting actually great reviews, and it is also suitable for 2D and less complex 3D games. Popular games that have been made on Unity, for example, are Fall Guys, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and Pokemon Go. Popular games on Unreal Engine are such as Fortnite, Hogwarts Legacy, and Final Fantasy VII. Did you also know that you can learn coding through games? For example, Minecraft teaches block-based programming with like a drag and drop functionality, which encourages computational thinking and is great for beginners.
Today we'll use Blockly, a system which uses visual blocks that you can drag and drop to write programs. Under the hood, you're creating JavaScript code.
Gamifying your coding learning can make the process more fun and therefore keep you motivated for longer. I've left a few links in the description with games that can teach you how to code. And there couldn't be a better justification to playing video games than learning. Let's move on to AI development. AI has been a hot topic for a while, and I'm sure you have seen artificial intelligence content all around you. The most used applications that I have seen are generative AI. This is where you ask the AI to create something from a prompt, like Adobe Express, or AI that provides you with answers and solutions to prompts like ChatGPT. You could learn how to harness the power of AI and create an AI application. It is also worth mentioning that for AI, there are also frameworks and libraries which contain tools and packages that make the code process faster and more efficient. In other words, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you have an interest in programming, mathematics, and statistics, learning AI coding would be perfect for you to express your creativity. What I find ironic is that you can even use AI chatbots to learn code. Use your favorite AI chatbot and ask it how to code Pong. Here's the results in ChatGPT. Another application of programming is augmented reality. Augmented reality is the addition of digital elements onto the real world, and it's interactive in nature. You look at the real world through a digital lens, like your phone or glasses, and those provide you then with more information. It has a ton of applications, but to me the best example would have to be tourism and the interior design industry. And of course, games like Pokemon Go. Many museums are already making use of AR to make their tours more engaging and interactive. Imagine going to the Museum of Natural History where extinct animals come to life on your phone.
The dinosaur's alive!
This is already being done in Paris in the Revivre exhibition, which essentially means bringing back to life. Another example of AR is interior design or floor planning, which allows you to design in 3D your interior and see how it would look in real life, in the real space before you're building it. This is something done also with VR, therefore sometimes those two can be confused. And this is the perfect segue to explain what virtual reality is, the next application for programming. Virtual reality is a digital world that appears real. It requires hardware like a VR goggle to experience it. This always reminds me of the Aerosmith music video of Amazing that came out ages ago. VR is mostly used in the entertainment industry, but also it's used for medical training and in design. You might have heard of Oculus Rift, the Google Tilt Brush, or the Google Cardboard. Both augmented reality and virtual reality take advantage of existing frameworks and game engines depending on what you want to program on. The next application of programming is robotics. This is where we mix electronics with programming. How about creating a plant watering robot, or a treat dispenser for your pet, or an automated curtain assistant? Your creativity here is the limit. A common way to get started with robotics is to get a Raspberry Pi. This is a tiny computer that you can program and insert in the hardware of your choice, making that hardware the robot. There's a large community with a lot of tutorials and ideas for projects, and I've left a link in the description if you want to give it a go. Mobile apps are another thing that you could create with programming. If you're watching this video on your phone, you're probably using the YouTube app. With the increased use most of mobile phones, mobile apps were created for a much better user experience. So why don't you create your own mobile application or game? There are tons of use cases here again, but I think productivity apps could be a good starting project for beginners. For example, you could create an app that tracks your expenses and tells you when you've surpassed your budget, or a tool that converts units so that when you're cooking with a recipe that's not in your unit, you can just convert it, or the same with sewing projects, convert it from inches to centimeters, etc. Maybe think what questions you ask Alexa or Google Home and see if you can turn that into a mobile app that you can program. Now let's go into a summary of the different programming languages that are out there that can be used for the different areas of application that I've just mentioned. Based on the resources I found, Python seems to be the easiest and most versatile language to learn and to start with. There are even games like Code Combat that you can play to learn Python. Now for the bonus, let me share some of my recommendations on how you can get started with the tech and get over the fear. First, start off with easy and small projects to focus on the fundamentals. When you do those well, it will become more fun to tackle more complex projects. You will start to put the pieces together as you progress. Gamifying your learning experience also adds to the fun. Tip number 2, patience, and more patience. There's a lot of trial and error, a lot of troubleshooting, and searching for syntax errors. This could be that you missed a single comma, closing bracket, or that you used inverted commas instead of a quotation mark in the many lines of code that you've written. Tip number 3, learn how to search. It is inevitable that you will run into errors that will require you to troubleshoot. Therefore, a fundamental skill to have is the ability to search the web for solutions to your issues. Learn how to use correctly the operators for searching. Also, continuously change your keywords until you find the correct term, and persevere searching for the solution, because I promise you, somebody already asked it and somebody already solved it. Programming is a super useful skill beyond just creative hobbies. A lot of the areas of implementation might feel super hard or out of reach, but with a bit of dedication in learning programming languages, developing a computational thinking, and learning how to troubleshoot, you can achieve a lot and enrich your life. So unleash your imagination, embrace the possibilities, and let your creativity soar. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to not miss future videos, and check out the links in the description. Until next time, happy programming!